I'll be asking you to choose. Thank you, Van. So you're going to be in charge. In case we want to choose someone to give us an answer, you will be in charge of that, especially when I am sharing my screen and I can't check on the participants. So I think now we have the quorum. Let's get started. Teacher Stephen told me that we had several lessons about tourism, maps, and giving directions. Is that true?
Yes.
That's good. So now I'm going to start by just a random question, which I saw already in the PowerPoint, but I want us to go through it. Maybe someone might be joining in for the first time. Maybe someone might have attended the lesson, but when maybe they forgot. So what comes to your mind when someone talks about tourism, maps, and giving directions? Yeah, you raise up your hand and maybe we choose you, you tell us what comes to your mind. What do you think is in this chapter? What comes to your mind? On a random day, someone says tourism, maps, and giving directions. Mm-hmm. People, what comes to your mind?
Madam, repeat the question.
I asked, what comes to your mind when someone says tourism, maps, and giving directions? Oh dear, Bridget says she's not getting me, but I'm trying to see that I get the best connection. I don't know. Let me see. How is it now? Am I very clear? We can only have this lesson if I am clear. Redeemer is asking which subject. We are going to have an English lesson, just like it is reflected on our timetable. Yes, this is English. Van, kindly let me know if I'm clearer now. Van.
Madam, you're clear.
Okay, that's good. Please keep letting me know every time you hear me not clear. Just unmute and let me know, teacher, you're breaking. Teacher, we can't hear you, so that this lesson flows well. Now, I asked a
Madam.
question. Where are we going to start from? What comes to your mind when someone talks about tourism? We're going for a tour. Here is a map, and someone will give us directions. What comes to your mind? We need to be organized. You raise your hand, then we choose you and you answer. The good thing people have told me, they have always had lessons about this chapter. So I want us to just have a starting point and see that we remember these things, we can talk about them, and we have a smooth lesson. One indicator of a good lesson is the teacher is speaking, the students are responding. Okay, yes, Van, thank you.
Giving directions, these are instructions that you give to someone about how to find a particular place.
Okay, thank you. So Van, what comes to your mind when someone talks about tourism? Van, anything? Okay. Yes, Van, go on. Then we shall hear from Jolene.
Tourism is the act
Joylene.
Tourism is the act and process of spending time away from home in pursuit of recreation, relaxation, and pleasure while making use of commercial provision of services.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Van has defined for us tourism. Now, Joylene, tell us, for you, what comes to your mind when someone talks about tourism or maps or giving directions?
Tourism is the act of visiting new places of interest for a particular purpose. Then giving directions is when you're helping like someone, or maybe you're giving someone you're directing someone to a place, or maybe you're helping them to find.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Joylene and Van,
Definition for
for
tourism.
those wonderful insights. Now, we are going
Madam,
to have this lesson. Yes, please.
another definition for tourism.
Go on.
Tourism is a social, cultural, and economic phenomenon which entails the movement
Oh,
of places
just
outside
a
their
moment.
usual.
Let me first mute darling. Someone here, darling, that is not muting their microphone. Oh, people, Becky. Oh, good. Okay, this is very
Tourism is
sad.
a social, cultural,
Continue.
phenomenon which entails the movement of people to countries or places outside their usual environment for personal or business or professional purposes.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Thank you. Darling has the hand up. Darling, please tell us what you want to say. Yes, please.
Tourism is like going to other places, visiting them.
Yes. In simple terms, that is it. Going to a new place, visiting it. And then, like Van said and Jolene, sometimes it can be for professional purposes, for pleasure, for study purposes, and many others. Some people even just go for adventure. Yes. So, thank you very much. Erisa, your hand has been up. I don't know if you have something you want to add to that as we start this lesson. Oh, Erisa is not speaking. Okay, thank you very much. So, friends, today we are going to have a lesson about two simple things concerning grammar. Erisa, yes, Erisa, I chose you to say something. I don't know if your hand was up by mistake. But if you have something to say, kindly unmute and speak now so that we continue. Okay. Back to our main thing. We are going to have a lesson, and these are the two things we are going to cover in today's lesson. Let me get there and share my screen. Okay. Van, Van? Okay. Van, you will be in charge of muting maybe people who are speaking and they have forgotten to mute their microphones. But friends, today we are going to have a lesson about using adjectives and relative clauses. Yes, mainly we are going to look at that. This is a subtopic that we have under this chapter of tourism, maps, and giving directions. So as we go through this lesson, I expect us to construct sentences using adjectives to describe adventures, to describe things we have done on a tour, and then relative clauses, one, to understand what they are, and then use them in sentences. Yes. So by the end of this lesson, my target is that all of us can use adjectives. So when we know what they are, to describe at least 5 experiences we've had when we go out to tour, and then also construct some 5, at least 5 sentences using relative clauses. By the end of this lesson, each learner that has attended should be able to explain the different relative pronouns that we use to form relative clauses. We should also be able to tell the difference between a clause and a sentence. So by the end of this lesson, I hope we will have achieved that. And I pray that where you are, you have a piece of paper where you write some of these things. You have maybe your book or your notebook. Yes, sometimes we can write answers in the chat box. But yes, you need reference. You need to show that you attended an English lesson one afternoon during the holiday. So, friends, you're most welcome, and this is what we are going to study: the use of adjectives and relative clauses. That is our main topic of discussion today. So I hope my screen is already displaying on your gadgets, and I hope we are seeing this clear. Is it?
Yes.
Very good, very good. So, Van, now is your time. I am expecting people to be raising up their hands, and then they tell us which word they have seen first on this picture. Which word? Just mentioning the words. The word say, teacher, when you displayed, my eyes ran fast to the word honest. Like that. Let people tell us the word that has captured their attention pretty fast. Van, you will be choosing.
Masake, you can speak.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Martha.
But sweet.
Okay, sweet.
Yes, Joylene.
I first saw the word heroic. Heroic.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Yes, Hannah.
Word adjectives. So can you hear me? I first saw the word adjectives as the word that caught my attention.
Boniface, please mute. Okay. Yes, Letitia.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Letitia.
I first saw adjective.
Yes, Technospark. Technospark 5 Pro, you can speak.
I saw the word joyful.
Okay, good.
Yes, yes, Stacy. Tracy.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon, Dia.
afternoon.
The word I've seen is charming.
Okay. Yes,
Good.
Tyra
Thank you.
Banks.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon, dear.
The word I saw first was charming. So the word charming means like something very pleasant, or something mesmerizing, something which looks good, something attractive, if I may say.
Yes,
Okay, thank you
Veronica.
very much.
I saw the word mushy.
Yes, darling.
Me, I found so beautiful and joyful.
Okay, thank you very much, dear friends. Now I'm going
Me,
to
I
ask you
saw the
to
word
write.
darling.
Van,
Yes, madam.
thank you very much for conducting that exercise. Now I'm going to ask people to write at least 5 words that they have liked in your book or notebook or your phone or your laptop, whatever you're using. Just note down any 5 that you can see in this picture, because in the next activity we shall be constructing sentences using these words to describe travel experiences. So make sure you choose your best 5 that you think are going to help us get good sentences. Yes, let's be silent and do the writing. I think like 1 minute or two, those should be enough for you to write down 5 words. If you want, you can even proceed to write the sentences. Okay. Are we through?
Madam, we are still writing.
Okay, okay, it's okay. Okay, I am hoping we are through. So we are going to do individual work. Moving on to the next slide. Use the adjectives you have identified in constructing sentences related to tourism, maps, and giving direction. But I have an example for us. Any volunteer out there, please read it for us. For example,
The artifact. Hannah, you can unmute.
The artifact reminds me of the heroic acts by the king of ancient kingdoms.
Thank you very much. Do we even know what an artifact is? Does anyone know?
No, no,
Mm, I can tell that someone is already doing Google search. Maybe when you land on it, you can share with us what it means. Someone says, oh, this artifact reminds me of the heroic acts by the kings of ancient kingdoms. What do they mean? What's an artifact?
Teacher,
Yes, please.
I think an artifact is like a historical object.
Yes, a historic object. Maybe you've gone to the museum and they show you the garments that the kings were using, the actual spears they were using to fight. You know, when you see that and it reminds you of something, you construct such a sentence. So now it is your turn to shine. You're going to construct for me sentences and then we move on. So take time. Each person could construct for us maybe one sentence, and for people who will have the best sentences, feel free to write them. Yes, in your book. So write any sentence making use of the adjective you have identified in the previous slide. Kindly keep your sentences about our subject of discussion: tourism, maps, and giving directions. Once you're ready with your sentence, you just raise your hand. And you share with us. I need to stop sharing. Once you're ready with your sentence, you raise your hand and you share with us a sentence from the adjectives we've just identified. Yes, Hannah Msime.
The teacher may use the word gigantic, and I wrote
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
Ted and Anne saw a gigantic mountain in Tanzania during their tour.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. That is Hannah. Yes, darling. I like your name. Is that your true name or it's an AKA? Darling, it's your turn. Please unmute and share with us the sentence that you've constructed.
The tour was exciting.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a meaningful and correct sentence. Yes, Tracy.
Okay, me, I use beautiful.
Hmm.
The game park had such a beautiful scenery.
Okay, thank you very much. As I wait for Van to answer, I've seen some in the chat box asking that they have just joined. Don't you worry. We are having a lesson first about adjectives. So we displayed a number of adjectives, well knowing that an adjective is a word that describes a noun, that modifies it and gives it more meaning. So if you went for a tour, how was it? Yes, just like the previous speaker, it was beautiful. It was an exciting experience. As you can see, people are writing very many sentences in the chat box. Feel free to race through and see if you can construct such a sentence. Then you will be at par with all of us. Yes, that is it. We are now constructing sentences using adjectives from the previous slide that we had displayed. So over to you, Van. Give us your sentence.
Okay, may I use the word scarlet? As we were having a tour at Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, I saw trees covered with deep scarlet leaves mixed with yellow that is light.
Oh, that's nice. That's advanced. Thank you, Van, my co-teacher. Yes, Daniela.
For me, I use the word enthusiastic. She was so enthusiastic about taking me through the tour at the game park.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniela. Do we have any other person that wants to construct a sentence so that we move on from this activity? I don't want to leave anyone behind, but I love even the people that are writing. Yes. Many people are giving wonderful answers in the chat box. Feel free to race through and maybe you can write some in your book. It won't hurt for you to go back to school when you have these things written down. You will be having a clear record of what you covered in this holiday. So thank you very much. Now I had a picture I landed on with some phrases which I'm going to share right now. And we look at it. I'm sharing my screen once again. I wouldn't want to share. I don't know if someone can read this. Yeah. Can we see what is displayed on our screens?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Very good. Let me first put it in slideshow for it to be clearer and to be the only thing on our screen. Okay, I guess that is a bit better for maybe people that have eye challenges. So over to you, Van. You'll be choosing for me people to read. You read the adjective and the noun in brackets. Then you read the definition of the word given and the example of the sentence to make it clearer. Yes, the same activity you've been doing, I just got a picture that can make it even clearer for us. This is even a good chance for people that have just joined to learn what we've been covering. So Van, if you have any volunteers out there whose hands are already up, kindly pick them and they read for us.
Bridget, you can speak.
Impressive in bracket view, something that leaves an impression. The main architecture is very, very old, but it is really clean and well maintained. The whole look of the hotel is impressive.
Very good. Thank you so much, Bridget. Bridget, in the sentence that you've just read, which word is the adjective? You can, I see there are very many adjectives in the sentence. Feel free to mention all of them.
I see old, clean.
Good. Any other?
Impressive.
Very, very good. Very old, really clean, and impressive. That is what Bridget has managed to identify. Thank you so much. Is there any other person who is seeing any other adjective in this phrase?
Remarkable. Remarkable. Gallery. Something
No.
that...
Just a moment, dear. We are still looking at the first sentence. The main architecture is very, very old, but it is really clean and well maintained. The whole look of the hotel is impressive. Bridget has identified old, clean, and impressive. Is there any other person who is seeing any other adjective in that very sentence?
Well maintained.
Very good. And lastly, from that first sentence, uh-oh. So I will mention that one. The main architecture. Someone might say the architecture, and then another person will ask which one. So to give it more details, to modify it or explain what it is, you will make it clear by saying the main one. I am talking about the main architecture. Okay, moving on. Someone already wanted to read for us the second answer. Please go on.
Daniel,
Okay.
you can unmute.
Okay. Remarkable. Gallery. Something that gives a lot of information. A remarkable gallery. I really didn't know anything about this painter before I visited this gallery.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Was it Daniel? Now, tell us which adjectives are in the sentence that you've just read.
Remarkable. I visited this yesterday. Yeah, only that one.
Yes, thank you so much. That's correct. We have that one adjective. Remarkable, a remarkable, something extraordinary, something eye-catching. Yes, that's the adjective we have. Moving on to the next example.
Yes, Hannah, you can unmute.
Superb food or menu. Quality better than average, amazing. It was
Okay.
superb food every night. There was always the chef's choice on the menu.
Okay, thank you so much, Hannah. Which one is the main adjective in that sentence you've just read?
Okay, the main adjective is superb.
Superb. Something that is very good, better than average, just above average, amazing, and it's of high quality. You know, next time when you're speaking or when you're writing your compositions at school, feel free to use that word, superb. Just super, ending in letter B, superb, and you have a wonderful word that can give you a spark in your writings or even the way you're speaking as you're talking to friends. Use these words, use these adjectives to show that you've learned something extra this holiday. Now we have the next sentence.
Yes,
Bunch
Joylene, you can unmute.
thank you.
Exotic, fruit or location, unusual and interesting. I was impressed by the fact they chose an exotic location for their honeymoon.
Okay. So, Joylene, what's the main adjective there?
Exotic.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's
And now you know what
exotic.
it means? Hmm. Okay, so Joylene knows that the adjective in that sentence is exotic, which means unusual and very interesting, extraordinary, and extremely nice. Thank you. And second last for this activity.
Yes, darling, you can speak.
Memorable in brackets dinner or holiday. Something that you're going to remember in the future. We had we, we had a real memorable honeymoon. We spent a lot of money, but it was wonderful, really memorable.
Okay, thank you so much, dear. Please tell me the adjectives you have seen in the sentence you've just read.
Memorable and wonderful.
And, oh, very nice. Thank you. That's correct. And finally, for this activity, Van, who is reading for us the last sentence?
Teacher, can I read the last sentence?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Unique, in brackets, tradition or experience. Something you haven't done before. For me, going on a cruise ship would be a unique experience because I haven't done it before.
Thank you very much. Which adjectives are there in that sentence?
I think the objective that was in that sentence, I think it's experience.
Are you sure experience is describing
No.
something?
It's unique. It's unique. Sorry, it's
Oh,
unique.
amazing, amazing. Do we have any other adjective in that sentence? Any word that is describing a noun?
No, teacher, I don't think we have another one. It's mainly unique.
Are you seeing the word that is modifying ship? Going on a dash ship. Which ship exactly would
A
be a
cruise
unique
ship.
experience? A
Cruise.
cruise? So thank you very much. Now I need only 2 volunteers to construct for me their own sentences using the adjective in red, that is highlighted in red, and the noun. For example, I want you to construct a sentence with superb food, or exotic location, or maybe memorable dinner, memorable holiday, unique tradition, something like that. We can have only 2 and we proceed to other slides.
Yes, Afrotaza, you can. Yes, darling. Darling, you can unmute.
The food mom cooked was superb.
Okay, very good. Thank you, darling.
Yes, Bridget, you can speak.
The Balenciagas had a memorable dinner.
Kindly say
Yes,
that again.
darling. Bridget, you can speak.
The Balenciagas had a memorable dinner.
Oh, thank you. That's correct.
Yes, Daniel.
The holiday I spent up country will always be memorable to me.
Thank you. And finally,
Dr. Quisha. You can speak.
My hand's not here.
Madam, they're finished.
Okay, thank you so much, Van. So, in our next activity, I'm going to be reading a few things, and then people will be answering questions, the questions I've given. I have sentences I'm going to read for us in pairs. Do you remember those sentences we used to construct in P7 where they would put a word in brackets and then you change it into an adjective, maybe from a verb, from a noun, so you give its form when it turns into an adjective?
Yes, madam.
So I'm going to read, I think, only 5, and then we move on to something else. So I go with number 1. The dash tourist calmed down a fierce lion. The dash tourist calmed down a fierce lion. And the word in brackets is Ghana. The dash tourist calmed down a fierce lion. Who can construct that sentence for us with an adjective? Which adjective comes from the word Ghana?
Madam, what's the word in brackets?
Ghana, the country. Hannah?
The Ghanaian tourist calmed down.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. The Ghanaian tourist calmed down a fierce lion. Now, Hannah, kindly write that for us in the chat box for us to get the spelling. Since Joshua's hand is up, I'm going to give him this other question. The nightingale, a nightingale is a bird, is a form of a bird that sings so well. Thank you, Hannah. That's Daniel has written that for us. Thank you. So Joshua, this is for you. The nightingale sang for us in a dash voice. The nightingale, and I say the nightingale is a bird. It's a type of a bird that loves to sing so well. The nightingale sang for us in a dash voice, and the word in brackets is melody. The nightingale sang for us in a dash voice. Joshua? Yes, Joshua?
Nightingale. Melody voice.
In a
The
what?
nightingale sang for us in a melodious voice.
Yes, thank you. That's correct. Now I'll give this to Priska. Priska? Priska, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, all right. This is a question. Did you enjoy the dash drive through Lake Mburo National Park? Oh, Joshua has not muted. Joshua, where are you? I need to mute you.
Madam, pardon.
Did you enjoy the dash drive through Lake Mburo National Park? And the word in brackets is adventure. Did you enjoy the dash drive through Lake Mburo National Park?
Like what?
Which adjective comes from the word adventure? Adventure. Did you enjoy the dash drive through Lake Mburo National Park?
Adventure. Did you enjoy the adventurous drive through Lake Mburo National Park?
That's correct. Thank you. And then Van, this is for you. Naigaga is a dash woman. Naigaga is a dash woman. And in brackets, we have the word courtesy. Courtesy.
Madam, I'm trying.
Yes, it's okay.
Naigaga. Madam, you said it's courtesy.
Yes.
Naigaga is a courteous woman.
Okay, you almost got it, but maybe it's just something with the pronunciation. And I'm now going to ask Daniel to give us the answer.
Naigaga is a catastrophic woman.
Oh, Daniel. No, let's get another person to try. Yes, Joshua?
Naigaga is a Cartesian woman.
Oh, good. Do we have any other person who wants to give it a try? Who?
Pardon the question.
Pardon.
Let me read it again. Naigaga is a dash woman. The word in brackets is courtesy. A woman who has courtesy, who behaves with a lot of courtesy. What's the adjective for that woman? Hannah?
Naigaga is a courteous woman.
That's correct. That's correct. You can say it again and then after you write it for us in the chat box.
Madam, that's what I said.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Then you have it right as well. Hannah and Van, please give us the answer once again.
Naigaga is a courteous woman.
Very good. Courteous. The word is courteous. Courteous. So Van, please write it for us. Thank you, Van. That is the correct spelling over there in the chat box. And finally, for this activity, Anne Dash Gorilla was calmed down by her family members. And the word in brackets is aggress. Aggress. Yes, Joshua?
Pardon me, please.
And Dash Gorilla was calmed down by her family, by her family members. The word in brackets is aggress.
And dash what?
Aggress, aggress. Which one is the adjective that comes from the word aggress?
Aggressive.
Very good. An aggressive gorilla was calmed down by her family members. Yeah, thank you very much, friends. We can move to our next slide. So that is it. And I'm hoping that we have learned how to use adjectives, especially when we are describing travel experiences. So that will take us to our next slide, which is, yes, relative clauses. Let me first put it in slide share. Very good. So, like we agreed at the start of this lesson, we are going to study about using adjectives and then relative clauses to describe travel experiences. Now, imagine your friend came to your home this holiday and told you this. Who is going to read that sentence for us? That phrase for us. This is not a complete sentence. Any volunteer to read this for us?
Madam,
The one. Sorry. Come again. People, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I need a volunteer to read for me the word in bold, black. Imagine if your friend came to your home and told you this.
Yes, Priska.
Let's go to the destination.
What would you say? What would you ask your friend? What would you respond?
Priska, you can unmute.
I think I would say Yes, we can.
Just on a random day when you've not had any program with this friend and someone says, let's go to the destination.
Which one?
That's the question
Yes,
I
Erisa,
wanted.
you can speak. Erisa, you can unmute.
I may ask him or her, what destination?
Yes. What are you talking about? Which destination? I have no program with you. And then, for them to make it clear, they will tell you using a relative clause, another sentence that will be tailored to this one to make it clear which destination you are actually going to. So relative clauses are sentences that we use to give clarity, especially when we are talking about things that are not known to the listener. Someone says, let's go to the destination which we planned for last term. Let's go to the destination that has been making news in this country. So that phrase, which we planned for, that is the relative clause. That has been making news, another relative clause. This is the book whose owner died. Whose owner died, that is the part of the sentence that we call a relative clause. And then, like we agreed at the start of the lesson, we are also going to know about relative pronouns. Which are those words that help us to construct relative clauses? Van, kindly read them for us.
Whom, whose, where, when, which, that, who.
Thank you very much. Those are relative pronouns. You can take a minute and write them in your book if you didn't know them. These are the words that help us to construct relative clauses. Please, just 1 minute, let's write them down. Okay, so we have relative pronoun whom. That gives specifications on the person that maybe has received a thing, or the person that you're talking about, the person that has, appeared in your sentence. Then we have whose, which is a relative pronoun that talks about possession. Possession. If you say, this is the girl whose mother came here, you are actually talking about the girl who is the daughter of the woman that maybe came, whose mother. This is the man whose house is painted in yellow. Yes, where is to do with
Place.
places. Yes, thank you. Then we have when to do with time, which to do with people, to do with objects that are not people. Then we have that, which can be used interchangeably with which. Then who is also about people.
Person.
I hope yes, I hope we've written those down. So we are going to have a speaking moment where we form meaningful sentences from the table in the next slide. Yes. Van, are you set? Because you'll be choosing for me people that will read the sentences in the table that I'm yet to display. Van, are you there?
Yes, madam.
Very good. I'm going to display a table and people are going to form for me meaningful sentences from it. I just wanted to be sure you're there.
Okay.
All right, this is the table. It has 3 sections. We have the first section, which has the subject. Then the second section has the relative pronouns, and the third has the other continuation of the relative clause. So, Van, you're going to be choosing for me people that will construct for us meaningful sentences.
Okay, madam. Tracy, you can speak.
The map which the tourists used was of great help.
Thank you. That's correct.
Yes, Bridget. Okay, yes, Erisa, you can speak.
The mobile phone whose owner had gone for a game drive rang incessantly.
Thank you. That's correct.
Yes, Tyra Banks, you can speak.
We went to Lake Bunyonyi where we watched birds all day.
Thank you. That's correct.
Yes, Boniface, you can speak.
Mountain that we camped on is volcanic.
Boniface, please say that again.
Mountain that we camped on is volcanic.
Van, can you hear what Boniface is saying?
No, he's not clear.
Oh, sorry about that. Boniface, one more try.
The mountain that we camped on is volcanic.
Oh, yes, the mountain that we camped on is volcanic. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Boniface. So, in the next activity, people are going to be constructing for me their own sentences. Yes, using relative clauses. Just your own sentence. Just try to keep it under this chapter of tourism, maps, and giving directions. I already told you this is speaking time. You unmute and tell us your sentence making use of a relative clause. Friends, your own sentences.
Where is Lake Bunyonyi located?
Let me see. Can you construct for me a sentence using exactly what you've said, but you make it a relative clause? Maybe I'm going to give you an example, then you construct your own other example. Yes? Mega, have you heard? Oh, Mega can't seem to respond, but I want him to construct for me a sentence with that very phrase acting as a relative clause. For example, we had an overnight in the place where Lake Bunyonyi is located. Our relative clause is where Lake Bunyonyi is located. Where Lake Bunyonyi is located. So that it is a clause that is there to give more information about the place where we had the overnight. So if you can, please construct your other sentence. I like Tracy's answer over there. No, Boniface. That is the man whose goats were stolen. Thank you. That's correct. Yes, Martha? Martha, it's your
The
turn.
tour guide omitted. The tour guide who we had not met left us a message.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Bridget?
We saw caves when we've toured around CP Falls.
That's nice. Someone will say, we saw caves, and then people will keep staring at you until you make use of a relative clause to be clear. We saw caves when we visited this place. Thank you so much, dear. Mwezi Amara?
Teacher, when did
Yes,
you
please.
go? When did you go to the market?
Now, Amara, I want you to construct for me a sentence,
Yes,
yes, with
yes,
just that you've said acting as a relative clause. Can I give you an example?
yes, please.
I met my teacher when I went to the market. When I went to the market, that's when I met my teacher. So now I want you to construct for me a sentence with when I went to the market serving as a relative clause. Part
Okay.
of a sentence that is
I saw.
explaining.
Has got somebody called.
I saw a picture of my mom when we were at the wedding.
Oh, thank you. That's correct. That's good use of a relative clause of time. Daniel?
I saw gorillas in the game park, which amused me.
Yes, thank you very much. That's correct. Van?
Nyakatungura is the place where we saw the Amabere cave.
Thank you. That's correct. Veronica?
Then, Madam, another one.
Yes, Van, before I go to Veronica, it's okay.
Buenda is the place where we camped.
Okay, thank you. Those are two correct sentences. Van. Yes, Veronica?
That receptionist who helped us last night.
Thank you. That's correct. I have Erisa.
Those are the children who tried to feed the lion.
Thank you. That's correct. Stacy? No, Tracy.
I saw a herd of cattle when we visited the ranch.
That's amazing. Any other person that wants to speak and I've not given them an opportunity? I hope we've all spoken. If you want to give another answer and you've already given, Hannah?
We visited the lake. I beg your pardon. We went fishing at the lake.
We went fishing at the lake. Do you think you have a relative clause in that sentence? Which relative pronoun have you used?
Okay, we visited the lake. We went to the lake where fish is found.
Ooh, very nice. I like that. Thank you so much. Daniel, do you want to give us another answer? Daniel and Martha?
Yes. I met
Yes, Daniel?
who ushered me into the game park.
Thank you. That's correct. I have someone who has not put a name but is now here called Technosmart Spark 5 Pro. Please answer. And tell
Is
us
that
your
the...
name, please.
My name is Karen.
Yes, Karen. Happy to hear from you. Give us your answer.
Is that the man who was beaten last night?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, in such a sentence, someone says, is that the man? You will all keep staring at the person speaking until they make use of a relative clause. Is that the man who was beaten last night? So the relative clause starting with who? Who was beaten last night? gives us clarity on the person that Karen is talking about or asking about. Is that the man who was beaten last night? In case I ask you to underline the relative clause, you're going to start with the relative pronoun, who was beaten last night. Thank you. So I guess that is it for this activity. And now we get to our very last one, which is joining sentences. Like you saw in the last slide, we agreed that we were going to construct sentences given by the teacher. Let me get back to my slide and I show you what I'm talking about. Yes, for speaking time, we agreed that we are going to join sentences using relative pronouns who, whose, and which. I'm going to be reading a sentence and then Van is going to be, no, I think I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to be reading a sentence and then you join it using who, whose, and which. Yes. Back to our lesson. Yes. Are we ready for this last activity of the lesson?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So the instruction is very simple. Join the sentences using relative pronouns who, which, or whose. Number one, which I'm going to give to my co-teacher Van. Van, are you ready for it?
Yes, madam.
Helen worked for a game warder. The game warder used to be a police officer. Join these two using either who, which, or whose. Helen worked for a game warder. The game warder used to be a police officer.
Helen worked for the game warder who used to be a police officer.
Thank you very much. That's correct. So I have number two. Who is willing to answer number two? Hannah wants to answer number two. They called a travel agent. The travel agent lives near the national park. They called the travel agent. The travel agent lives near the national park.
They called the travel agent who lives near the national park.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Number three. This is the elephant. Who is answering? Daniel.
Madam, it's Daniel.
Yes, thank you. Daniel, are you there? Can we have microphones muted, please? Let's mute the microphones. Let me see who is not muted. Oh, okay. Daniel, here is your question. This is the elephant. It was wounded last week. This is the elephant. It was wounded last week.
This was the elephant which was.
I said this is.
Okay.
This
is the elephant which was. Is it wounded?
Yes, yes.
Which was wounded last week.
Okay, thank you very much. That's correct. I'm going to give number 4 to Erisa. Erisa, are you ready?
Yes.
That is the boy. His sister wrote an 8-day itinerary for Mgahinga Gorilla National Park. That is the boy. His sister wrote an 8-day itinerary for Mgahinga Gorilla National Park.
That is the boy whose sister wrote a 18 Gahinda National Game Park.
Okay, thank you. That's a correct use of a phrasal verb. Sorry, of the relative clause. That is the boy whose sister wrote an 8-day itinerary for Mugahinga Gorilla National Park. Number 5. I'm giving number 5 to Tracy. Tracy, are you ready?
Yes, please.
My brother wore a mask. My brother wore a mask. The mask scared the chimpanzees.
My brother wore a mask which scared the chimpanzees.
Thank you. That's correct. I'm giving Zanita number 6. Zanita, you said?
Yes.
He came with a friend. The friend waited outside Uganda Wildlife Authority offices.
He came with a friend that waited. Pardon?
Yes. He came with a friend. The friend waited outside Uganda Wildlife Authority offices.
He came with a friend that waited outside Uganda national offices.
Thank you. That's correct. He came with a friend who or that waited outside Uganda Wildlife Authority offices. I'm giving number 7 to Agaba. Agaba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I sent an email to my brother. My brother lives in Australia. I sent an email to my brother. My brother lives in Australia.
I sent an email to my brother who lives in Australia.
Okay, thank you very much. Mega, are you ready for number 8? Oh, okay, Mega is not speaking. Let me give this to Daniel. Daniel, can you hear me? Daniel? Yes, Daniel? Daniel can't hear me. How about Veronica? Veronica, can you hear me? I would like to give you number 8.
Madam Daniel has unmuted.
Oh, Daniel, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The bag contained money. It was yellow.
The bag which contained money was yellow.
Perfect. That's correct. Second last for this activity, I am going to still ask Veronica if she can hear me.
Yes.
A woman calmed down her daughter. The daughter was crying. A woman calmed down her daughter. The daughter was crying.
A woman calmed down her daughter who was crying.
Thank you. Thank you. That's correct. Number 10, Jemima. Jemima, are you there? Jemima, can you hear me? Oh. How about Leah? I'm trying to see people that have not said a thing in the lesson. Maybe they could answer this last question. I also have Rina in this
Shannon.
class. Hey, I have Shannon over there. Redeemer spoke at the start of the lesson and kept quiet. I have Timothy. Timothy was among the first people to join the lesson. I would like someone to answer this last question as we come to the end of this session. Someone that has not said a thing. Someone that has not spoken. I have Nicholas.
Madam Shannon has
Tash.
unmuted.
Okay, Shannon, are you ready for this last question?
Yes.
The poacher was arrested. His spear was taken by the game warder.
The poacher, whose spear was taken by the game warder, was arrested.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's correct. So, friends, that brings us to the end of this lesson. And I am hoping that moving forward, we are going to learn to be confident as we are using adjectives in our speech, well knowing that these are words that modify nouns. If you're talking about a laptop, which laptop? If you talk about the beautiful laptop, the modern laptop, then you're using an adjective. Then we shall also be able to use relative clauses very well with a lot of knowledge, knowing that these are just parts of a sentence that start with a relative pronoun. Even if your teacher at school calls you onto the board and says, underline for us the relative clause, you should walk there confidently and start with the relative pronoun. Who was here last night? Where we went yesterday, as part of the phrase, yes? I see people are now engaging in a chat, very serious chat there. I don't know, Van, if you need to explain to me what's happening, but I thank you very much, people, for attending this lesson, and I am hoping that moving forward, you will be superstars in your individual schools, especially when we are talking about adjectives and relative clauses. Do we have any question?
Madam, the recording that I made, where will I put it?
You can send it to me on my email or my WhatsApp. I don't know. Do you have Teacher Steven's WhatsApp number?
Yes.
You can send it there. Is that okay?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. My co-teacher Van, you're such a brilliant co-teacher to work with. You have made this lesson possible. Do we have any other question? Okay, thank you people for the messages you're sending in the chat box. I am very hopeful that you have benefited from this lesson, and I am glad that I've met you. I'm looking forward to having many other lessons with you and having many people speaking. Yes, I have some people that have joined the lesson but have not said a thing. And I'm hoping that the next time we have a lesson, they will be the most active members of the group. I thank you very much. May God bless you all. May God keep you safe until we meet again. I remain Teacher Safra,
Madam.
and I wish you all the very best.
Closing
Yes,
prayer
ma'am.
from Martha.
Thank you, my co-teacher. Martha, are you there?
Yes, madam. Humble yourselves and we pray.
Yes, you're giving.
Heavenly loving Father,
Yes,
King
dear.
of Kings, we thank you. Thank you for the gift of life, the gift of protection, and for the gift of friends and teachers, King of Kings. As we are ending this lesson, we pray that you bless everyone that has attended.
We thank you for our parents and for the holidays. Thank you, Jesus Christ. We shall always praise and magnify your holy name because you're worthy. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord, I've prayed and I believe. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you, Martha, for